Drama 22 coming back with the video. Today we're going to work on the passing game. We're going to start with the vertical concepts, and we're going to break them down into different categories. We're going to start with doubles. We'll talk about what that means, how this is a really good play to kind of give yourself some protection and also be able to take a shot and feel comfortable that you can block up some blitzes and also get to check the ball down. Then we'll go to the both go, which is really almost a cousin of the doubles family. Same thing, you can have some decent protection here, but the beeline route is what's exclusive in this play. We'll talk about that and why you might want to use the beeline route. Then we'll go to all go, and the family of all go and all go special are very similar. This is where I definitely suggest you guys go and go find some research from JTO and QB School. He talks about these concepts on his page. And we talk about how it's really not just a concept where you are throwing verticals down the field. It's also a conversion concept that ties into it where you can throw comebacks and curls. Then after that, we have Pennsylvania and Tampa, which from what I remember is one of their big third down plays that they like to use on third and medium. And it's a play that really has answers to every coverage, okay? So this is the beginning of the book, and then I'm just kind of breaking it down into sections. I didn't think it'd be too long for me to do all of the passing game. It'll probably be a 2-hour video. So let's just hit up the vertical game. Let's hit up the doubles and the both go, and then from there we'll move on. All right. Okay, we're going to start the book off with the doubles concept because it's very easy, very simple, but it is it is better built at a play action. Okay. But the good thing about this is that you're going to be able to attack the field vertically. You're going to be able to find the best matchup, and then you're also going to be able to have really easy checkdowns. Okay, so that's part of it. The ball's probably going to go to the checkdowns more than it will than taking the shot. Okay, so I have to do this because I think Mike McCarthy, when I look at his book, he kind of starts in this family and he tries to build out. Okay, so the Fox package, I'm not exactly sure what he meant by that, but I do know that this is a big audible package, okay, where they're called two plays in the huddle, the doubles pass play or a run play, okay? And if you get a certain look, really, if you get a too high shell that looks like cover two or two man, we're going to get out of the pass play and get into the run, okay? Usually the run is some sort of inside run play, all right? So let's just take a look at it real quick. I think I showed you this already. The two routes on the outside are tagged double go. That's the doubles concept. Anytime you hear double, the tight end or whoever is the middle receiver of the group of the formation will run a middle read route. We're going to have to kind of manipulate this in Madden. I'll spend more time and talk about it in the field. But basically, it's a dig versus middle field close and a post versus middle field open. And then you see here, this is built with both backs checking down, doing what they call backs cross, okay? A popular West Coast term where you basically check through the line of scrimmage, all right? You check your protection and you work and continue through to the opposite side of where you started, okay? So in general, the protection, which I won't spend a lot of time on, is a 7-man protection. So it's good versus pressure, a team that wants to be aggressive. That's another reason why you want to take the shot. The outside routes can be tagged double go, double comeback, we use the word cat for comeback, double hinge. It can be anything to beat one-on-one coverage on the outside, okay? The reads will go pick a side, pick the best matchup, left or right. And then after that, that's your first read. So here, let's just say we took the X go. All right, let's say that was CD Lamb. We took a shot. If you like it, go with it. If not, look for number two. Number two is really not a route that you're probably going to throw the ball to a whole lot unless he's butt naked, wide open, busted coverage. It would be a dig for the most part because we're going to run this versus post safety most of the time. And then we have our checkdowns, which is really going to be get through your checkdowns, get the ball to your checkdowns pretty quickly. If this was under center without play action, it would be 7-step. If it is play action, it's going to time up the same way. From the gun, you're going to need to get a little bit more depth in your drop. All right. So let's just take a look at the Madden field. I'm going to show you some plays that I'm using right now to kind of create this. And then also I'm going to show you another play that you can use from the all go package, which we'll talk about later, that pretty much can create the same type of play. So you can really get you can create this play from a lot of you could create it from other concepts and give you the same double concept. Okay. And then the reason why we're starting here is because we want to build off of this into the next play. All right. I'll see you on the Madden field. Okay. So here we are in the Madden field. Now, your playbook, I'll take a look at the Cowboys playbook and put it up on the screen. What plays you should be able to run. Because there might be some I formation plays that you can run this out of. That's pretty much how it's built in the beginning. But for right now, I'm just going to start with doubles, okay? And I'm going to go with play action shot, all right? Now, this play right here, again, it's built for, you're going to come out and call the play probably in the second half after you know what type of coverages your opponent's playing, let's be honest. Or if you know your opponent already, all right? But it's really good for the double go part of this is if you do get a guy that plays press coverage, okay? I don't care if it is press coverage and they're bailing, but you want to take that shot with your outside receiver. You feel like he's faster. You feel like he's better. That's the reason why you want to call this play. Now, you can call this play and make routes, but I'm trying to stay out of the hot route family as much as I can in this playbook. I want to be able to play fast if I need to. So this is a good play versus press. I won't spend a lot of time on it. And then also Cook's route versus middle field close should be that read route, right? So you could put him on a dig if you like. But to be honest with you, I'm just going to leave it alone because most of the time he's not getting the ball on the dig. So I'm just going to kind of bastardize this play right now. And then the main thing you want to do to spend your hot route time on is to take the tight end and put him on a block and release across the field. Because we are built out of a 2x2 right now, we're not going to get two backs in the backfield, but you can find other plays that have two backs in the backfield, even if it's from the gun, and get the protection that you want. So what we're going to do here is we're going to actually double team the defensive end to that side. All that does is this doesn't give you great 7-man protection, honestly. It gives you better, just actually not better. It's mandatory you do that because if you don't, the defensive end's going to come free. Okay. Right now, I'm just going to go through the play. All right. I'm going to take my shot here, see what happens. Okay. That's fine. I probably will check this ball down more often, like I had said, than not. If I, for some reason, just put the tight end on the block and release across the field, don't double team the defensive end, as soon as that right tackle doesn't pay attention to the defensive end, he basically sees it as he's free to block whoever. Okay, so in order to get around that, again, you just put your tight end on that hot route. Excuse me, here, and then you go with the double team mechanic and you double team your defensive end. Okay, gotta be there. So you look for your shot, you pick your best matchup. If you don't like it, you know what I'm saying, be ready to move or be ready to throw the ball to your check down. I don't know why the check down took so long to get open there. All right. So this is more of a scheme play in the second half. I wasn't going to start the playbook off with this, but I want to start it off because I feel like it's an important concept for us to understand because we can build it out of other plays. All right. Let's go with this other one that we have here is gun line off trips. Okay, so this formation is pretty unique. The reason why it's in the book is because if I motion the tight end over, he becomes basically a fullback in the backfield. It's the only formation you can do that in the game this year, okay? So the tight end's going to work a little bit of an in route right there, and then the halfback's going to work an out route to the left. And what do we have? Back straws, okay? So again, we're going to work this play specifically versus single high looks. If we did get a split safety look like this, we probably would get out of the play. We probably would run the ball. Okay. But if you do for some reason get this type of look, we actually did get post safety. They changed in the snap. We just keep it and go. But go through your progression. One side, just read one side only to the middle of the field. Now, this middle of the field route is not the route that you want versus middle field open, but we're just going to live with it because honestly, we're not going to throw the ball to him. Okay. If you want to keep the tight end and have him work across the field like we did before, you could just put him on this route, this blue route. Don't forget to double team if you do that. All right. And we're just going to rock and roll. Okay. They gave me a little bit of a 3 cloud look. Corners bumped into each other. We took advantage of it. We're going to take a shot. All right. So it's one of those things where it's like, take a shot. If you don't like it, dump it down. All right. Let's get the tight end back in the backfield. Let's have him just work a little flat release. Okay. We have two backs checking out to the side. Little flat release. They'll have the same defense over and over here. But the point is, I just wanted to show you this play just so you can know how you can use this one. This one is probably a little bit more of a favorite play for me, but it's not play action. So you lose a little bit there. Okay. And then you have the good old empty third down play, empty chips, corner strike, which everybody has seen this over the years. This is the one time that I'm actually going to call this play. Actually, let me go back. I apologize, guys. Let me go back real quick. I didn't show you the run audible. All right, so let me just do that real fast. So if we do get cover two, all right, let's come back in that same play that we were just in. All right, so let's say we do get cover two. Look, okay. This is when you want to check into a run play, and it's the way I have it set up right now. We have a lot of RPOs we can run. We can run duo if we want. We could do whatever we want. Okay. You can still bring the tight end over and run a line on this side if you like to. Okay. So, but if we get cover two, we got to run the ball. Okay. That time, that's a read play. So I gotta throw the ball out there. But you can change this up if you want to add in something else where there's no actual RPOs. That's fine. But obviously, that's part of the personality of the Cowboys. They run a good amount of RPOs as well. Okay. So, I just want to make sure you guys understand that we're going to check out of that play versus a too high look. We're not going to attack a too high look if we know it's too high. Okay. All right. So if we do get into a third and long situation or a 2 minute drive, and we know they're playing a lot of cover two, okay, or two man, but let's just go to cover two right now. Here we go. So cover two. This version of a doubles play, double corners, okay, or double C routes is actually pretty good. And then now in the middle of the field, you also have the nice middle read route versus middle field open. It actually works for you. It's actually designed that way for you here. It's not something we're making up. So you see Cooks's route. He's your number two technically, but if it looks wide open, don't delay. Give it to him. Okay. Your progression still should go outside. Okay, to the outside receivers, to the middle of the field, to the check down. Just work through your progressions quickly. All right. One thing I will say about the whole offense, and I have to remember this. This is an offense when I watch it on film, it looks a lot like this. I'm not trying to be cheesy, but if the route's not there like immediately, Dak starts to his third option sometimes is to just run. Now in this play, we have nice little easy checkdowns. But be ready to go, man. Be ready to at least extend the play. I'm not saying to run for a first down, but to extend the play because sometimes these little check releases don't get open quick enough and you may not be able to get what you want. Okay. So that would be double corners or double, probably, I'm not sure. They call it K, I think they call it K. All right. So that's the name of that route. Now, if you are in a position where your playbook doesn't have these routes and you want to kind of get to the same idea, you can use something that has, let's say you want to run comebacks. Okay. You don't want to make hot routes, right? I'm kind of in that situation now where I'm trying to do less hot routes, right? So I come out versus a cover three team, right? Middle field close, love it. We don't have to kill to the run. We have this route. We're going to use this route versus the same situation later on. But we want to do it where we have a little bit better protection. Okay. So I'm going to take the tight end and put him on that block release cross. I'm going to double team the defensive end, and I'm going to get that same idea. I got double comebacks. They call them cats. So double cat. I have a route that was working the middle of the field. Now, this is a little bit different than the middle read route. He's going to run a post versus middle field open, but middle field close, he's going to run a seam route. This is an alley read route, a little bit different. But again, we're not going to throw the ball to him most likely on any of these plays unless it's cover two. So I'm not worried about it as long as my checkdowns are there. And that's kind of like what I'm looking at right now. I'm also looking at an offense that gives me the comebacks, but also gives me great checkdowns. Okay. And I think it's something that you guys can look into. So let me just do it one more time. I'm going to just have this guy go across the field, right? Only audible I need. This is the route that, okay, I got off coverage. I'm going to throw this comeback, right? That's pretty much what we're looking at. So that's double comeback, double cat, basically built out of the all go play, okay, out of the four verticals play. So go through your book, and I'm sure there's other plays that might look similar. Like I know there's one here that I'm not going to really use right away, but I have a double post. So I can kind of do the same thing here, let the play rock out a little bit. Shouldn't be going against nickel, but that's okay. Now this is a little bit different because it's a little bit more. I should have never forced that ball. It's tighter, it's compressed tighter. I like this more for the red zone. But if you're gonna do this, make sure your backs are releasing, right? Make sure they're check releasing. Maybe put the ball into the boundary right here, so both backs can check release the opposite way. Hold on one second. Formation into the boundary. I'm saying sorry. So if I did check releases, at least the backs are there. So if I don't like this right now, like everybody's getting so much depth, I can just check it down to the back. I think also the tight end is working that little buck route over the middle, a little hook route, a little TP route, which actually does do well versus cover three. So it kind of serves as like the dig route there. So we're kind of having a little bit of liberty with it. You have to. It's Madden. You can't make everything perfect. But that's the doubles concept, guys. I think you guys will like it. Something you run, like I said, on first down after you know what they're doing on defense. Maybe 2 minute drive. All right. And then maybe just to get yourself back into the game, second and long. Just think about it. Take your shot, get your chunk play if you can. But if not, check the ball down. It's pretty easy on the brain. You have good protection, 7-man protection. It's pretty good. All right. All right, guys. I'll talk to you in the next clip. We're going to jump into the both go concept next, which is really, it's very similar to this one, except there's one difference that we'll talk about. Okay, we're going to spend less time on this concept because it's kind of like the other one. It's called mirrored concepts. It's called the both concept. Really, I'm going to kind of bastardize it a little bit, make it work for us. Really what you have here is a progression with an option read. So the option read is looking at specific route. It's good if it's there versus specific coverage, or you're going to kind of blank it. You're going to kind of like look at it first, see if it's there, and then go through your regular progression. Okay. So what we're going to have here is what we call the B line route. B line route. Okay. It attacks the middle of the field. So all it is, it's kind of like a crossing route or like a post route, and in the game of Madden, there are a couple plays that actually give you this route without you having to check to it, hot route to it, or have any type of special abilities. Okay. So we're going to use that. So really what we're trying to do is get the ball to this guy over the middle of the field right away. Okay. So we're trying to take that quick angle to try to get underneath the post safety. If there's no post safety, we're just trying to work to the middle of the field, the near safety, and look for the ball because it might come to you quick. Aaron Rodgers was great at this play. Haven't seen Dak really rip this ball too much, but it kind of gives us the same idea as working the doubles package, but now we're looking to throw the ball to the middle. Everything else is pretty much the same from a protection standpoint. We're going to try to keep guys in to protect, but it's not necessary. Like if you go back and look, it says 2x2 pass combination, right? So I'm going to take a little bit of liberty and try to get some other hot routes in there if I need to kind of make sense. And then also, I'm not going to just go with the both Puma right here. I'm going to use a little bit of the West Coast style and actually audible the outside guys to different routes if I need to. And really, what I'm going to try to do is have one route that probably beats, man coverage, and one route that beats zone coverage. So at least I have an answer on both sides. All right. So that's what we're going to kind of do with this route. There's only two routes in the game that I like. That's in my custom book. But if you do have a receiver with route apprentice or tight end apprentice, you can actually use the crossing route concept and actually get this concept, in any play that you want. Okay. So let's just jump right onto the Madden field. Let's take a look at it. Okay. So I changed teams here, went with the 49ers. Don't get mad, Cowboys fans. I'm a Niners fan. All right, so take a look at this. What we're going to do is look at two plays that are in the book that's real easy. One of them is called QB Sonya check, and I'm just going to go against any coverage, okay? So this play right here, look at Kittle's route. That is the beeline route, okay? That's the route that you don't really get too often. Really, it would have to be you have to look for plays that in the playbooks that have this route. So you have that. Now I have Kittle here because I can also take Kittle and put him into a crossing route because he has tight end apprentice. And that kind of gives you the exact same angle. Okay. So I just want to let you see that and then see that. Very similar. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take our outside guy on the right hand side and we're going to put him in a different concept, whatever you want. For right now, I'm just going to put him in a comeback just to kind of go through a little bit of a make it easy on myself, right? I have an answer maybe versus a vertical route. I want to go deep on the left. If I don't like it, I'll use maybe the right hand side based on the coverage. Okay. The first thing you're going to look at is that beeline route. Now, you can take this route and make it into a protection look if you want. So you can max protect or whatever. You can leave everybody in, give yourself some time, right? Or you can go back to just maybe using your audibles and putting your halfback into a little check down route here. You can take your tight end and do the same thing. You can have them go to the flat, block and release. You could do anything you want with those two guys. They're not part of the route progression besides checkdowns, okay? But really, the route in the middle is what we want to look at. If we like it, take it. If we don't, then we just go through our normal progression. For some reason, I felt like the left hand side was gonna win, so I took a shot deep. If I didn't like it, I would have checked it down. Okay, so outside dig, you can actually keep that if you want. It really is not going to get in the way unless you throw the ball late. Okay, and you really shouldn't be throwing this ball late. That beeline route is like right there. Take it if you like it. If not, go through your progression. Okay. So it's kind of like almost looking for a hot route. It's that type of mentality. Okay. So that's why if you want to look at it like that, you're fine. If for some reason you did want to, like I had said, you don't, you look at off coverage on the right, you look for the route in the middle. If it's there, give it to him, right? Like kind of force that ball in there. Give it to him at any point during the route. It doesn't have to be at a certain point. Just give it to him when he's open. It's very simple. It's actually, comical how simple it could be, right? All right, so that's pretty much it. And then you can do things once I start going into other plays, you can start motioning guys around a little bit. You can start making switching it up. The one thing I will do with this concept is not always make it 7-man protection or keep two guys in the block. I will take this tight end and move him around and put him in drags, put him in certain things. In their language, they call them burst routes by the outside guys. They will call them drive routes by the inside guys sometimes, but I'm not sure if they call them all bursts or drives, but again, the drive concept, just so you know, in general, is not heavily used with them anymore. It was back in the day, but you don't see a lot of drive. The only drive you might see is if they run some sort of mesh concept, okay, where they would actually call drive and then call mesh and then call burst and have an outside receiver run another shallow, okay. So you don't see a lot of drive out of the team anymore. They've kind of gotten away from that, but you can kind of like work this guy however you want. All right. So you can have your underneath options. Sorry. You can have some underneath options. If I get this right here, I'm trying to get this back onto a through route. There we go. You can have underneath options as checkdowns any way you want. If you don't want to use the protection there, you can do whatever you want. Okay. So the main thing, though, again, is working this route down the middle, which honestly gets open versus post safety as well because he crosses his face. Okay. So when you have a nice matchup, that's your option, and then go through your peer progression. The other one that I like that a lot of people know about is built out of doubles Y off. It's the PA weak flood. Okay. This one requires a little bit of motioning. I don't really like this route is actually a really great route. Everybody knows this. This really deep dig route or in route really gets open versus a lot of coverages. But we're not using it for that reason. We're going to use it for our same reason here of working um, the both concept. But this route, as you see, that's a average wide receiver working across the field. It gets open for you guys. So this playbook does allow you to have some just mental freedom, man. You don't have to read everything all the time exactly. Just go through your progressions, and that's your first option. And then if you don't like it, hit the deep ball and then throw the check down. Okay, so like I had said, that's a really good thing to use. And if you wanted to have your tight end in the slot or your wide receiver with route apprentice in the slot, and you can get them on different routes. So like the double post route, it's not the same as the QB Sonya check. You see it? Look how the route works across the field quicker in the middle compared to like a double post. So don't really try to take a double post route. That's not what it is. Okay. Let me just try to get a different formation just to show you real quick. I've been using the same formations here. You could build it out of 3x1. You could build it out of 2x2. It doesn't matter. So let me just find one real quick off the top of my head. Try to find a play that can kind of give me this option right now. I'm just going to use stick and nod just to I don't have what's his name in the slot, but you need to have a player in the slot. All right. So let me just go back and get that done real quick. You need to have a player that can. Oh, he is in the slot. Okay, good. My fault. He's removed here. All right. So let's go with it. My tight end's in the slot. So I can put him on this route that gets across the field. Right. And right now, this is technically both go. Okay. We're going to look at the underneath route real quick. I'll leave the back in the block. If you like it, you're good. If not, throw a check down. That's not a good check down, obviously, but that route forgot works out and comes back in. So if I did this, I would need to cross and then just put my other guy in a shallow just to give myself a little bit of an option. Maybe even take the running back there, right? Again, I'm not here to make a million check routes, but just a simple little basic beeline route gets open versus a whole lot. It's something to use. I think everybody can use it. I think it's really easy. I think you can get a lot of yards off of it. All right. All right. So next part of the video, we'll jump into the all go, which is going to be very interesting because it's a little bit different than how some teams run it in real life. I think some teams run all go a little bit differently than how the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy runs it. All right. Talk to you later. Now we're into the all go concept. Okay. So this is a concept that I honestly not 100% sure when you should use it. I think it's good versus all coverages, so you should probably use it anytime you need. Third down, red zone, 2 minute. That's probably when I would use it the most. First down, surprise them, and I like to use it off of play action if I'm going to do that. But what we're doing here is 2x2 passing game. Okay, PSL for the quarterback, so he's going to look for the matchup that he needs. Now, if you look at the JT O'Sullivan page, he talks about this for about 45 minutes. Okay. It's the all go concept, and then it goes into the all go special concept, which is the 3x1 version of it. Okay. There are different ways to teach it, and I think the way that they teach it is unique, and the way I'm going to use it in Madden is kind of close to how they do it. Okay. So let's just take a look at their little PowerPoint they put together for their players. So you guys are getting stuff that the players got. Really, what they're talking about is the middle read route. Okay, so is it a bend or an alley by Y? Okay, so basically, he has the option to run straight down the field, what they would call an alley. We're talking about the landmarks. If it's middle field closed, middle field open, he would bend it and towards the middle of the field. Okay, so obviously, this look right here, it shows you the two safeties. There's the middle field open, so he's going to bend and take the middle. Okay, now, the thing that they use also is they usually use the Y a lot to be that guy, to be that read guy. Okay. Take a look at here, the outside guys. Okay. So we talked about the inside, simple. The outside guys all go. Always, that's the tag. That's how we start play, really. Okay. That's what the play name is called. But we can tag the outside routes with hinges, all right, which are basically 8-yard curls. In Madden, it's just a 12-yard curl, okay? Or you can also put them on cats, comebacks, okay? Or whatever you want, really. So any type of route, this is the conversion part of the offense. Now, if the corners are in a press position and the play call was all go hinge or in Madden, all go with curls, corners are in press, or if they are 5 yards looking like cover two, you need to convert those routes into go routes. Okay. So here it's talking about they called all go hinge. When they said if it's press, no, convert to go routes. Same thing in Madden. You get press, put them on go routes, unless it's called all go, from the beginning. Okay, so let's say we get this type of coverage. Do we bend it or do we stay in the alley with the tight end or whoever is the quote unquote the read guy, the bend guy? Okay, this case, no, we're going to work the alley when middle field is closed, which is basically working the top of the numbers. Okay, right off the edge of the numbers. And then the outside guys, are they going to keep on their hinges? Yes, because the corners are off. Free access is what we call it. Okay, basically, there's nobody in that window. There's nobody standing there. Run the route. Okay, I know somebody can buzz out underneath it late, but that's for the quarterback to read, and he'll work the middle of the field. Okay, so just in general, all go. Okay, can be used with a flash fake, with a play action fake. It can be used from the under center. It could be used from the gun. Okay, really as a QB, you're working two different reads based off of middle field open and middle field close. Okay, if the middle field is closed, you're working the inside two routes. Okay, you're working the inside two routes, 1A, 1B. Okay, so if it's zone coverage, you can look to pop one of those alley routes. Okay, and those alley routes should be out towards the numbers, basically seam routes. Okay, if it's middle field open, oh, let me continue. I'm sorry. If for some reason it's middle field closed, and let's say it's cover one or three seam, and those seam routes aren't open, then you work the outside. Okay, whatever side you want to work to. Okay, and then after that, you check it down to the back. So middle field close, you're going to work 1A, 1B, find either seam. Okay, and then if that's not there for you, you're working the outside. This is why if you call it and you see that the corners are off, it's better to possibly put your outside receivers in what they would call hinge or cat. All right, we're going to use cat. We're going to have plays where it's actually cat comebacks. Okay, it'll be your second read, and then you would check it down to like as your third read. Okay, As you see the coverages, guys, you kind of know what will be open once you recognize the coverages. That's part of the reason why I kind of believe this is another play that you use more in the second half. As we kind of, that's my own thought process. You kind of use it more when you know what the coverage is going to be after maybe you've played a guy for a whole half, you know what he's trying to do to you, and you try to switch it up then. Okay. And then now you kind of anticipate where the ball is going to go. Now, if it's middle field open, if there's two safeties that are split safety, okay, two cover two, then now we're going to work one side of the field. Okay, we're going to work to that side that's the bender side. Whoever is tagged with the bender, and that player is going to work towards the middle of the field. You're going to work inside to out. You're going to work one to the bender, two to the go route on the outside. Okay, and again, cover two. This is why we said if those corners are playing 5 yards off, you know it's cover two. Let that outside receiver run his go route. Okay, we'll talk about that on the field to the check down. Now, the hardest one I think, honestly, is quarters coverage or cover two man. Okay, cover two man, you're still working the same rules. Okay, it's middle field open. You're going to work the bender, see if he wins on that post route in Madden. We'll talk about that. It's not the best route in the world. Sometimes it get open, sometimes it doesn't. Then you know pretty much versus two man, your outside receiver is pretty much locked up, so you can kind of skip him in the progression. You can peep him, but he's probably not going to be open versus two man. And then you work your back. Now your back, the check down didn't talk about it, and this is the reason why we want to run this route a specific way. He does have an option route, so he's working. He sits down versus zone, and versus man he works away from leverage. Okay, so versus two man, it's pretty much a play for him to get the ball a lot more. And then also don't forget you can run with the ball with the quarterback versus two man. This is what Aaron Rodgers does so well, and Dak does a good job of it too. Okay, so in general, that's what we have versus quarters. Quarters is a coverage that's meant to take away four verticals. That's the design of the coverage. So if you know it's quarters coverage, you really want to make sure your outside guys are in comebacks. All right, so it'll be all go cat. You still work your read. And rule one is pretty much going to be taken away by the safety. You don't have to sit on that too long. Then work to the outside. Look at that comeback. It should be there for you. If it's not, work your running back. Okay. So that's it. That's pretty much the read. I think it's pretty simple. I think if you go on JTO's page, he might explain it even better. There's also different types of all goes, but that's where we are. Now, I talked about the outside conversions. You can also have some inside conversions that we'll show you later, where the inside guy will work what we call a search route or like an option route. That would be more like a third down situation. You know it's two man or cover one. You want to put the inside guy, maybe the slot receiver on a crawl. That would represent kind of like an option route. He would sit down versus zone or even man, or you could put him on an out route. So there's a little bit of conversion slash audibling or hot routing here. This is again why I like to run this play later in games, not necessarily to start the game, because I kind of want to know what's going on. All right, let's take a look at all go. Okay, let's take a look at the different versions we have in my custom book. Every book has this play. But let's take a quick look at it on the field. It's pretty simple, but we'll go through the reads and I'll talk about some of the angles that we have to worry about. Okay, so I had said that I like it versus I like it from play action, to be honest with you. So I'm going to start there. Gun doubles halfback weak. All right, play action seams. So you can already see this is actually really all go, and in their terminology, hinge, okay, or puma. Pumas are deeper curls. We don't have something to represent 12-yard curls, so we're just going to call it hinge, or we could just call it curl because we know what it is, okay? Let's just go through it. Let's say now we know, right? So we're coming out here. We're not just throwing this blindly, which we can, but we know we've been playing a team a lot and they've been coming out in cover three. We've been running the ball pretty well. We've been doing some good things. They're playing generic cover three sky, okay? So you can see the routes here. Let's actually put this on a hash because it's a little bit more realistic. You can see the routes here in the game. This is almost like a double bender. Both guys are kind of bending in, and there's no actual read here. So this is the only bad thing about this, okay? But what I would do here is take the route, especially one of the routes, especially the tight end here. But whoever it is, I would just put him on an actual just streak. Let him go straight. Okay. He's probably going to get bumped around a little bit, go from there. The outside receiver, I mean, and then also Cook, same thing. You could put him on a streak as well. This play is kind of designed to let and live, but with the tight end, because he's so tight, I'm just going to put him on a streak. Now, you're going to read middle field close, right? Big thing here is zone coverage. I got to throw that a little bit sooner. Zone coverage in this game, especially when you have linebackers, you can definitely hit these seam routes easy. Okay. And that's the reason why I wanted to have this tight end go straight down the field. If you can hit this, you can hit that easy with a little bit of a pass lead outside to get away from the safety. All right. So that's kind of how I work it. And we're talking Madden now. This isn't necessarily real life. If you tried the other seam that's kind of naturally bending in, I always felt like that one's a harder one to throw. But if you have a really good player, you can try it out. Now, if you get what I just got right there, unfortunately, the back is not checking through on this play. So you would have potentially said, you know what? I'm skipping over number two here because I know it's a curl. I'm going to throw it down. I'm going to check it down to the back. That would have been the last read that would be there if for some reason the linebackers are getting a lot of depth. But you don't. We're going to try to beat the linebackers or beat or use a linebacker based off the play action. That's going to suck them up. We think they're not going to get depth. So that's why we're doing that. Okay. That's why I like it off of play action. Now, the curls on the outside are not great versus cover three. But if you wanted to put one of them into a comeback, you can do that. That's perfectly fine. You can put both of them into a comeback. That should get you a better result. You get a better throw there. So this could be all go net. All right. And we do have that already in the book, so you don't have to do it here. So this is very easy to see, very easy to read. This is how I would look at it. Now, if I was getting a team that was playing a lot of cover one, I wouldn't necessarily really want to do this play, run this play the same way. But you know that versus cover one, the inside seams are going to probably be what? Taken, eaten up. So now you go to your second read, which is your outside curls. And those curls you got to throw, on time, find the matchup. Okay, that's the big part of this thing too. I think that's something that's a little bit unique about this offense. Is very, it's not unique, but it's true to how it is in real life. Finding the matchups are important, right? Like making sure you know who you're going up against and throwing the routes. Different than some other offenses where the matchups aren't that important, or throw it to the open guy no matter what. This one is, hey, we're going to kind of feed the guy, has a mismatch, right? So that's one way to do it. Let's go with just a generic way of actually there is one, there is a all go cat that's actually out of the single back wing. Let me show you this one. I haven't really worked this one too much, but play action, it actually says it. Play action verticals. I'm going against all coverages right now. So this is a cover zero look. I'm not going to talk about that right this second. So let me just hold off on that. I'm not going to talk about hots right now. Let me just make sure I get the coverage that I want. Let's go with cover three or cover four. Let's go with quarters, okay? Because cover three to come back is pretty good. So we are getting just double goals on the outside on the right hand side. You can't really do anything about that. We are getting the play action fake. We do know versus quarters that the inside seams are pretty much taken away, but the comebacks are who you want to take a look at, okay, on that play. So that's something to think about. All right. So that's really all go X cat. That's what that would be. Okay. Now let's go to the generic version of this play that you need to know. I'm going to go with there's a formation here. I have spread, which is actually built out of four wide receivers. Where is it at? Where is it? I forgot what they call four wide receivers. I got to go back and look at it. Another animal name. But anyway, we do have here, where is it at? Oh, there's four verticals. Okay. I thought I had a different one there. So four verticals straight up, right? Let's go against cover three to start. Now we're getting a little bit better spacing. I think this is how you want it. Okay. We have the bender over here to the left. Okay. We have Tolbert, who's kind of also bending into the right. So in today's modern football, you kind of get kind of that double bend action. But really, I did that wrong. You really want to probably work that right hand side guy, and you want to work it so that you put him on a streak route. That is going to be better, I think. Let him work the outside edge of the numbers, get a little bit more space, go from there. Okay. This one here, you have your back as your check down. So if you do get guys flying out of there, all right, you get underneath coverage, getting underneath your seam routes, you could throw it to the back. So again, middle field's closed. We're just working our seam routes. I don't like it. We're going to check it down. Boom. Now the outside guy, you see how I even skipped over the outside guy? Because I know what they're running go routes, right? But if I did have it all go cat, then I see cover three as well. Then now I know I can work as my second read those comebacks. Okay. So you can build that into your offense, have it ready to go. I do have some other ones in here that are actually, I'm trying to think. I think there is an all go. I know there's an all go cat play. I don't know where. Oh, yeah, the doubles Y off. We did that one earlier. So doubles Y off. Here it goes. Verts comebacks. There's lots of plays like that in the game, guys. Okay. So that's the beginning of that. Now let's just talk about let's run this play versus cover two. Okay. I'm not going to do hard flat. There's different types of cover two. I can sit here and spend a long time talking about how guys can match play almost like a match version of cover two. But let's just go through the route. Let's just run it regular. Let's just talk about it, right? Now, the middle read guy is something that kind of can get in the window, or sometimes even the nickel will run with number two. Okay. So because it's middle field open, all right, we're always going to start, even if it's post snap, we have to read this. We're going to start to the side of the bender, which is on the left. Okay. And then we're going to go to our outside receiver, and then we'll go to our check down. Okay. That's pretty much so we're reading half the field here. We're not reading the full field when it's middle field open. I won't say full field. We're not reading both seams here. There's no need to. Okay. We're going to work one side of the field, and it's to the side of where the bender is. If you do get two man, is another thing. Let me just show that to you. If you get two man, run the same play. Very inconsistent results with your slot receiver and how he breaks open versus this route. Sometimes it's like this, it's real shallow. Sometimes it take a little bit deeper. And then also, if you're going up against a good nickel, just be wary of it. You have to really maybe even pass lead this a little bit because that nickel will get in the window. Okay. He will sometimes get underneath it and what is it, slip or slice? Slip. He would slip and come underneath and make a play. So a lot of times when you get two man, your best option really here, and this one is not the one that I want to work, is your running back. Okay. So let's go back to this one. Most of your all go specials have the running back working a halfback option route. That one doesn't, so you would need to put him in one. Let me go find another play. Um, I guess I need to have a little bit more in here with the all go. That's on me. All right, I don't have another one straight up. I have some empty versions. We could talk about that in another video. But if you are in this situation and you do get cover one or cover two man and you want to work your back as your third option, just put your back into an option route. That's one of your things you can actually hot route them to. Okay, you don't like this. You know it's going to be if you have a matchup situation that you can win with your back. Okay, you don't have a matchup you can win, you might want to just think about running with your quarterback. All right. Now, before I move on to all go special, I do want to just talk about, and I want to put this into all my videos actually at this point forward, is I do have some stuff here in my custom book where I have like this one here, this formation, gun trips, tight end, offset weak. I'm actually in it so I can motion out of it. All right. They do a lot of this. Let me just go random play. The Cowboys do a lot of this. They line up in this formation, which I think really does a nice job of making people check. I did it today versus somebody I played against. I just didn't capitalize off of it. A lot of people have checks to this formation, this 3x1 nub formation, especially when it's back offset. So it's a 1-4 split. So when you get that, people check. Now I'm actually going to get back to my 2x2. So I'm going to actually get my guys to get the defense to potentially be in a defense they don't want, get them to actually have to audible. So this one here, I'm going to create an audible, which I didn't do fully there. My fault. Forgot to audible the tight end. So I'm going to put the outside guy that motions either on a comeback or go, depending on the leverage of what I see. So right now they're playing off leverage. So I'm just going to put them in a comeback. Okay. And I'm going to take my right tight end and put him on a streak route. Okay. So we're getting all go Z comeback or Z cat here. Okay. The back is automatically running it out. So we're good there. So in general, we go from there. Now, as we work our coverages, I was able to see that was zone coverage. If you guys want to join the Patreon, I've talked about a little bit about how to read coverage better. This is where I really kind of like take advantage of it in my vertical game. All right. Like I know this is man to man right now. So I kind of have a little bit of a cheat there and I know what's going on. So let's do this too. Let's add in a little bit more. Let's add the search route in there, which I didn't talk about a whole lot, but we can search anybody. We can search the tight end. We can search the slot receiver, which is versus man to man. We can either put him in a curl or an out. Really, it's supposed to be an out, but just for now, let's just put him on a curl. So I'm going to take the slot receiver. They got me. It was actually cover two invert. Good job by them. But if it was man to man, I would have been in good shape. All right. Here goes a cover zero look. We all love it. We all know it. Let me just motion this guy over. I'm just going to put him on a hinge or a curl. I'm pretty sure that I know this is cover zero. I'm not even going to block it up completely. But this is something you're going to see me do a lot when I'm playing with this playbook is probably about 5 to 6 times a game. I'm going to motion from one formation to another. And this is going to be one of the big ones. Okay. So just wanted to show you that before we go into the next concept. All go. Again, I would use this out of the play action, maybe early in the game. You could do it early in the game out of play action, but I would definitely use it in the second half again. Save it for when you know the coverages, kind of like what we talked about with everything else. And it would probably surprise people a lot better when you use it that way. Use it in 2 minute drives, okay? And then use it in the red zone. Good time to throw the ball to the seam routes in the red zone for touchdown. Something that, I've seen the Cowboys do a lot as well. All right. All right, guys, that is the all go play. We spent a little bit of good time on that. We're going to go to all go special, which is the direct cousin of that play next. Okay, so we're into the all go special part of the playbook. This is really just the 3x1 version. And as we go through it, special route in their offense was usually the tight end. That was the guy that made the read. Um, he worked 4 yards inside the nearest deep safety. So versus post safety looks, he would try to cross his face. Versus split safety looks, he would basically become that bender that we talked about. Okay. This is a little different than in Madden. In Madden, they have this guy work all the way across the field to get to his landmark. A little bit different. So take a look at this. And when we jump on the field, you're going to notice the difference how the all go special really takes the tight end and kind of puts him in a landmark over here by the numbers and makes this guy the bender, okay, or makes him the guy that's going to be the special, okay. So we can do it that way. That's no problem. However, I prefer to keep it the way they have it in the game, okay. Everything from the reads are pretty much the same. So versus post safety looks, single high looks, right? We're going to work either the special, right? Or the alley route right here, the seam route. Okay. And I think that's the thing that's going to be really good that when we run this play, we're going to adjust sometimes how this guy runs his route. But the main thing I want you to see here in the notes, it says outside best release, right? And you want to get outside that defender. Okay. So we're going to have to hot route him to a fade route. And that's going to put him over there by the numbers. And that's going to make it so that versus cover three, we can throw that seam ball. Okay. Versus split safety coverage, cover two looks. All right. We're pretty much working the similar route technique that we had talked about, where we're going to work one, that's still your first read, okay, the special or the bender, and then we're going to work the outside guy on the far side, okay? And then the last read will always still be the back, no different than anything else that we did in all go, all right? So that's pretty much the play setup. This play can have all the same conversions that the other plays had. We can have our curls, comebacks, cats, right? We can do whatever we want. We can also search the inside guy if we know it's man to man, all right? So all the conversions are the same, 3x1. And let's take a look at it actually on the field. And then after this, we're going to start getting into some of the third down plays that kind of work off of the all go special play. Okay, there's some level concepts that kind of come out of a combination of the all go special family, and it kind of builds on from there. That's the reason why we're installing it this way. I'll see you on the Madden field. Okay, so when I actually started installing this with the Patreon guys, I talked about potentially not using the all go special actual play. Thought about maybe using a different play, just to get that special route, not to have him work all the way across the field. So like the clear out play, that play right there, I was considering doing that, but the problem was I would have had to make a ton of audibles, and I wouldn't have the check down with the running back that I want. So I went back against that and just went back to install the regular four verticals. And let's just work it versus cover three to start. Post safety look. Okay, so in general, all right, this is the way the route is set up, and you see how this is so much different. This isn't wrong, okay? And if you wanted to work the seams like you would in 2x2, you can. You got to make a really tough throw over there to either the tight end or you can try to throw the seam ball to number two, but I don't really want to do it like this. Okay. This isn't the version that it seems like the Cowboys run. Okay. We're going to go and do what they do. So let's get ourselves on the hash and let's back up a little bit. And it will require a few hot routes, but nothing really major, in my opinion. Okay. The first hot route is to take the special route, really the tight end, and just put him on a streak. Now, I know he's not necessarily bending across the safety's face, but to be honest with you, versus post safety, he's not getting the ball. Okay. I'm not going to try to throw him the ball. Even if you look at that picture, throwing the ball across the safety's face from this angle, being 4 yards inside of him, that's not good. The guy that's really going to get the ball, really, in the read, in my opinion, is going to be the number two slot receiver. Okay. And if you remember the notes, it said make sure you outside release. So I put right now um, Cooks into a straight streak. That's not correct. Cooks into a fade up on the right stick, and you see him have a little bit of an angle outside. And what he does is he actually releases outside of number two, outside number two, outside the nickel most of the time. Let me go back on that one. First time is always a little funky. Let me just do it again. I'm going to streak the tight end. I'm going to take Cooks and put him on the outside fade route. And against most cover threes, you see how he gets to that spot right there? That's what opens up the window to throw that ball in there. Okay. So that's what we're looking for. And that's what you're going to get most of the time. You're going to get this guy working outside the nickel, the curl flat defender, and being really on the numbers here, which is fine. This obviously, this tight end is, pretty much distracting or holding the safety a lot better. And sometimes when you run the natural route, this route actually works across the field so much that this safety doesn't even bother him. And if you ever get any type of roll up players or players that can run with three, then you're in trouble. All right. So to me, this is the best way to work the route. Okay. I'm actually changing the read a little bit. I'm working 2 to 1 to the field side. Okay. Now over here to the left, if CD Lamb is really like, if you have a press matchup or something, you just want to take a shot, you can do that. Okay. So that would be your option. That would be your alert to the left to say, hey, my best receiver, who I usually put over there, if there's a matchup I like, I'm going to make sure that the other team has to pay for it. Okay. But anyway, that's what we have right now. So we have cover three. Again, I wouldn't run it like this. I would run it because if you do that, the safety is going to get over a little bit sooner, I think, and that's going to make a little bit of a little bit of a problem right there. The safety actually did go with three, but from what I've seen, it's best to just run it like so. Okay. Now the outside guys. Okay. So now we got all go. All right. We can also get in there all go. Right. I don't have any plays in there where there's comebacks automatically. So again, I wouldn't want to make 3 hot routes. I get it. That's a lot. But we're trying to make it simulated to what they do in real life. But having the cat, all right, having the comeback really actually does a good job where that corner is really going to pursue and really going to get back because of number two working the seam route. So that comeback route is really nice. All right. There might be some plays in the game, if I'm not mistaken, that have comebacks in there already. If you don't have that, you can also think about using motion and going from 2x2 to 3x1 and getting to that. Okay, so taking one of your 2x2 plays and trying to motion to 3x1, you can kind of do that as well. But anyway, that's pretty much what we're looking at when it comes to post safety reads. If it's man to man, you don't get the win. You're not going to get the win with the audibles. So I would say when I say get the win, you're not going to get any separation with your audibles and man to man most likely unless you beat them over the top. So when I say audibles, hot routes, sorry. So look at your back, check it down to your back. All right. That's pretty much going to be your man answer unless you have some sort of mismatch that you can take care of or you want to throw the comeback. All right. So that would be cover single. That would be post safety, man to man. Now let's just talk about cover two. So to me, this is where you make your money. Cover two, obvious cover two. If you know it, it's coming. All right. This route right here is okay versus cover two. Again, I'm not saying you can't run all go like this. You can try it out. You can work it. All right. And you can still work the read. This read would be the bender to number two. Sorry, to number one on the outside. So it would be number two on the right, Cooks to the outside go route. Okay. And you want to try to influence the safety. It's going to be tough. You might get also corners running up the field a little bit worse. So let's go to my adjustment. I'm going to take Number three, put him on a streak. Number two, put him on a fade. And we're just going to see how this really opens up the field. Okay, it really opens it up for the tight end. I remember back in the day, every single tight end that was on Green Bay used to get this throw at him. And even now, I look at the Cowboys, and they, their tight ends, their big tight ends, 6, 7 tight ends, whatever, they get open on this play as well. And it kind of also holds the safety, so you also have the outside throw. But you see how much easier it is right now for me. It's just so much easier to throw this ball against this with just really the one adjustment down the middle. My fault, didn't get that in. Really the two adjustments, changing number three and changing number two. That's what you need to do. Okay. And then also the reason why I kept it with the 4 vertical play is because the check down is what you need if you get any type of user defenders who are running with two. If we get sink coverage, we get soft squat coverage. Sometimes the corners are going to match 2 and 1. So you need the running back there to give you a good check down. All right. So that's pretty much where we're at. I have a bunch of these plays out of built out of really all the 3x1 sets. Like I had said, though, if you want to run this, you can run it out of. Um, Actually, right now, let me just look at it right now. I do have, yeah, it's all 3x1, 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 and then I do have some plays where we have the option routes in there and or the search routes in there and the curl routes. So let's take a look at that because that would be the next step. People don't want to play zone versus this because this really tears up most zones. Now we can throw some of the option routes and curl routes, or we can do some of the conversions that we talked about. All right, so let me go Y off trips. All right, so this one here, and this, if you don't know, this is also we'll go random play for now. This is a 1-4 split, so you have 4 receivers to one side, which is what the Cowboys do a lot of as well. That's one of their personalities. This will take any zone coverage and actually change it. Okay. But to me, this is a version of all go special, especially to the right of screen. If this was cover four, I think this might be cover four. You're going to see how the nickel is going to just work outside. And this is a little bit kind of like gamerish, but you could just throw the seam in there right now, right? You can actually give them the ball right now if you know somebody's not playing match coverage. I kind of do that because I feel like people who play cover four but don't play match deserve to get this. All right. I just feel like it's like you deserve it. You should be playing match. But you know what? I'm also making it really hard for you because right now, even if you were playing match, you're going to end up getting the same coverage. So this is a little bit dirty. I'm not going to lie. Don't use it against me. If you don't like me, use it against me. That's fine. I'll come up with an answer. But really, what I'm looking for, and they keep giving me the same coverage, is if we're getting a lot of man to man, right? And we don't have, all we're doing is checking it down to the back. Let's say we're getting 2 man, right? We call this play, maybe we audible to this play, but we just take the play. Okay. We can even be an all go special or 4 verticals. And now we have right here, this one is an option by the tight end versus zone. He'll sit down versus man. He'll work out. It works pretty well versus in man. If you don't trust it for whatever reason, you could just put him on and out. Okay. You can do that. And also, a search route usually is always an out versus man, but you can also get away with just playing. You can run curls versus man. I think everybody knows that. It's a little bit cheesy, but it works about maybe 60 to 70% of the time, especially if your guy has abilities. You can work that route. All right. So we have the searches and those type of things there. Let's go to one more play here. Let's go to Trey Open and X. Okay, curls X go. So as we get along, there's another play called stickers. I'm going to talk about it later. It's pretty much like everybody curl up. Okay, but you can take this exact same play here and turn it into. You can have multiple guys curling for you, right? So technically, I can take this play right now, and this is all go special. Y and zebra search. Okay, which they're doing right now. They're just curling up. Okay. Let's say you're not 100% sure if it's man. You can also take one guy and let him do his route, take the other guy and put him on a 10-yard out. So now you have multiple options to see if you can win versus man to man. I think this is important when you play teams that are just heavy man to man. You got to have routes that work away from them. Now we are going to have some motion stuff as well. Not a whole lot, but we're gonna move guys around. We're gonna have some stack formations. We're gonna have some bunch formations. We're not gonna just stay static in 3x1 and 2x2. Just so you know, we're gonna get into that stuff later. But this is just the beginning. This is how we're building. All right. So that's pretty much it for the all go. And then we have the all go searches. You can always do a search anytime you want. And then there's the all go cat and pumas, which is just the curls and comebacks. All right. So you're still reading it split safety, post safety, but really the read kind of it makes it really simple versus split safety. You're going to look for the tight end to the outside, one receiver to your back. If you don't have any searches on, if you don't have any conversions called, and versus post safety, you're pretty much looking to number two, all right, in the seam to number one strong, especially if you have number one strong on a conversion on a cat play. All right. All right. So now we're jumping to the final part of the vertical package, the Pennsylvania play, which is one of his favorite third down plays, I feel. And then also Tampa, which is good versus cover two. Okay. So we'll talk about that next. Okay. So Pennsylvania is here. Pennsylvania is a called play. All right. Progression with an option. We really, that option is going to be your backside receiver. But we're going to have a nice little easy progression here, okay? Really, what it is outside guys working a shallow, okay, from the outside in. A lot of times it is like a 5 yard in. It's not really a true shallow. Two's working a deep out, and three is working the special, okay? So the special is what we just talked about, which is really a vertical, okay? Now, in their package, of course, they're going to work 4 yards inside the near safety. But we're not going to be able to get all of that, but we're going to get something similar. All right. So let's just take a look at it. So you can see how this is really built off of all go special. It's the same type of play. It's just that Pennsylvania tells number one to run that shallow, number two to run the out. Okay. And then usually the back always flares out to the side of the three receivers, which is really good. Again, the Cowboys believe in the 1-4 split stuff a lot. They're going to always usually get the back strong. So that's going to turn any type of match coverage into usually zone coverage. All right. So if you play a match team, now you have an advantage because you're getting them out of match and they may not even realize it. Okay. Now the backside here says X puck. That's a little bit of a, tag. Really, the rules on the backside really goes like this. The big route, okay, that's there, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Puma versus Cloud. Puma Cloud adjust. Okay, cross, right. All right, so usually it's a Puma, which is just a deep curl, okay? You can work that, you can put that on. That would be your alert, that would be your option. Okay. If you like it, take it. Okay. But usually versus cover two, if you do get cover two, that route turns into a dig. And if you look in the game when we run this play, that route is actually a dig automatically. So you can just leave that on. You don't have to do anything with it. And it kind of gives you a nice little answer versus cover two. So this is a play that I would consider, another one of these. It's one of their gotta have it plays. It's got to be one of the plays that beats a lot of different coverages, right? So if you get split safety coverage here, like cover two, you have the option of hitting this guy, right? So that's also there for you. So that would be another alert. But really, you're going to read the deep out, okay, which we're going to have to kind of create a little bit to the guy underneath. All right. That's really your read. If for some reason a linebacker was to be running up with this, this is going to be open. Okay. But also, just in case there is some other player that's there, you do also have that dig route. So this is really like a three-level play versus cover two. Really nice, right? Now, I know, I don't know for a fact, but I really believe that they really took this play from the Indianapolis Colts system because the Colts have a very similar play already. We've talked about it, which is DAG, which is just number two working the out, number one working the in, and you can DAG anywhere you want. You can DAG from the inside, which they have another play that's very similar to that. They call that Brickyard. Okay, so the point is, I really think that that's where they got the idea from because versus man to man, you have a really good beater right there. All right, that's why that's the number one read. That's also the reason why he's at 15 yards, which is exactly how the Colts did it. So to me, what they did was they took all go special and they combined it with like a levels concept, right? Which to me is what makes them unique, different than I think other West Coast teams. I think this is where McCarthy and Schottenheimer really kind of took some of that indie stuff and kind of ran with it and kind of meshed it together into their system. So And then the last, so basically, just in general though, if you don't like the alerts for whatever reason, the read is 1 to 2 to 3. Okay, simple as that. All right, so that's Pennsylvania. So let's take a look at it on the field. They actually have this play in the playbook, pretty much set for you without much changes. All right. Okay, so Pennsylvania is in two formations. You can run it out of tray open, or you could just run it out of tray. Okay, so again, we're into like third down, gotta have it, red zone, something like that. All right, that's pretty much where you're at. Actually, do I have it in there? Hold on one second. No, I'm sorry. Gun wide trips. So, okay, gun tray open, yes, or gun Y off trips weak. Okay, so here we go. Z under. So anytime you see Z under, that's pretty much where we're at. Let's just work it versus cover one to start. Okay, let's actually just go against coverages. So we're gonna run this versus cover one. Now you see how Cooks is actually working. He is actually working that corner route. Okay, you can keep that on if you feel like it's a good route. I just feel like in Madden that route's really hard to throw. Okay, for whatever reason. So putting him on a deep out, just audibling him like that is better. Now, this play actually really does something unique compared to the other plays out of this formation. I don't know if you see it, it's kind of a tell. But look at number one. He's on the numbers. Again, that's very Indianapolis style like, right? He's a lot tighter than he would be on any other play. Let me show you. If I call anything else in this playbook right now, let me just call post Z and cross, right? Usually that guy is outside, wide. And in their playbook, they actually did have this guy wider. Okay, so that's a little bit different. I don't know if I can motion him out. I don't think I want to, be honest with you. I actually like him to be tighter because it affects the middle of the field sooner. All right. So again, let's just go through what we need to do. The inside route of Cooks, we have to put him on the out. Just gives you an easier throw versus man, in my opinion. And if you're trying to get to the sticks, let's say it's like 3rd and 12, that's what you want. The number three, the tight end is actually working a really good angle for what we would want if it was the special, right? He's kind of working, he's going to work basically across the safety's face as soon as he backs up. I was thinking about using this play. That's what I was telling you earlier. I have the actual on go special play, but I decided not to because there's just way too many audible, way too many hot routes. Okay. So the only other thing you have to do here is because one is running under, right? The backside Lamb is working his 15-yard dig. We talked about that. Let's just leave that on. It's not going to hurt. Okay. All you have to do is just motion the running back over to this side and just put him onto a check release flat. So that's it. All right. So this is not a play you run a whole lot. This is really a third down, gotta have it play. You might run it like 2 times in a game, but it's really good for you. Versus man to man, your reads are easy. You're just gonna work number two on the out route, right? And then if he's not there, you're just gonna work the shallow or the under. Okay. Really, it's a 5 yard in. They call it a shallow, but even in the playbook, it says run 5 yards in. So I don't know why they're calling that a shallow. This is a shallow, okay? But then till you're running back. And I'll be honest with you, especially since if you get caught out there where number two's not open, and he's not going to be open for what? Well, if it's man, if it's zone, right? I'm telling you, the back is usually always open, okay? And the underneath shallow really distracts everybody. So it's a nice play, okay? But let's take a look at it from here. This is run tray open Z under, okay? So it's the same concept. Let's go versus cover two. All right. Again, the outside receiver is a little tighter. I don't know if you noticed. Okay. But versus cover two, again, I'm going to put the audibles on, but you probably aren't going to be getting to hooks on the out route. Okay. He's not going to really be an option for you. We're going to alert the middle. Okay. We're going to end up coming back to our quote unquote shallow route. All right. And you're going to see if he basically it's a high low between the tight end and the shallow. Okay. If anybody tries to chase the shallow route, then the nickel, like let's say the nickel decided to squeeze on that shallow. Okay. Then you can now go to your running back who's working the flat. All right. So this play here, I wouldn't need, if I think it's covered two, sometimes, guys, I'll be honest with you, unless somebody's really good at disguising, I'm not even going to change Cook's route. I'm just going to keep it like this. Now the alert is there is then a nice little alert there if you do want to throw that dig. Let's say somebody tries to cheat again. All right. So this play naturally has a lot of constraint theory to it. That's the Indianapolis style of play calling, meaning that if somebody tries to cheat out of their zone, you have answers, right? Look at all these guys down the middle. So just think about that. I think you guys will like this play. I think it'll be a nice play for you. I'm sorry to the back end of this long video, but it's worth it, man. I'm telling you. I'll put the chapters in there so you guys can find this hopefully later. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the last play of the video, Tampa. Okay, so the Tampa play, as you see, is actually to me the same play. Okay. You see how it's still part of the all go special family, right? Let me go back to actually the sheet. So, progression with an option, we have the shallow on the outside, we have the in now by number 2, and we have the special by number 3. So, on this one, this is really the same thing by 1, okay? Two's now working inside on a 15-yard dig, which you can't really replicate. It's going to be probably at 10 yards if it's first down, but you can use this, like I said, on third down, third and long. You now can make this hot routed in a lot deeper. Okay, if you need to hot route it, actually, it may not be needed. Okay, because some of the plays in the playbook has this, and then the special is still there. You can see how versus cover 2, this is the same issue. Now we're getting a nice little high low. We got a guy down the middle. We have a dig also here. So if somebody chases that, the dig is there. And then we have a nice little also option there. Okay, so the reads here, though, actually, it's funny. They actually don't have the, oh, yeah, they do have it. So it's an alert to the same thing, alert down the middle. And then your reads are dig to underneath. I'm about to call it a shin to our shallow. So you can see how that, what is this, guys? This is no different than, that looks like what? Dig, right? And in the playbook, they actually do have in the indie playbook, they have a name for this whole concept. It's called stairwell. Okay, so it's the same idea as stairwell, pretty much run in the West Coast system. All right. Now on the backside, we have our Puma alert if you want that. And if you do get cover 2, this is where they want you to run a C route back on the backside. And so you can't do that unless you have some type of outside of Princess. You can do that with that type of receiver. But you obviously need to clear out because you have all the routes coming towards you. And this is the one time you don't have to necessarily have the back check out to the right. You can have them just work to the left. Again, Tampa, we're trying to beat cover 2 here. Okay. So this is a little bit of a specialty play. I think it's still good versus maybe some other coverages. It's not bad versus quarters. You're going to probably end up checking the ball down. Oops. But that's where we are. Okay. So let's take a look at this on the field. And this will be the last play of this video. Okay, so the one thing I said, I made a mistake when I was talking about the play. We actually have this play already in the playbook. It's again 3-by-1, and we're going to come out and clear out. All right, this is one of the plays I was considering using for all go special, but we're going to use it for this nice little play versus Tampa 2. So clear out is there for you guys. Everything is set up. You don't have to do anything. Even the backside. This is more of what they would call the Puma route. Takes really long to develop, so don't even worry about it. But if you do have like CD Lamb has outside of Princess, you can put him on a corner route, and that would give you the C route if you want that. Okay, but again, our read here is we're going to alert the middle of the field. If we like it, we can take it. I shouldn't have forced that ball. That was a bad job by me. All right, if we like it, we can take it. That's just an alert. All right, but then what we're going to do here now is work the whole concept. All right, you're going to work basically 2 to 3. Now, I have noticed in this play that our number one read, the slot corner, he takes a while to get there. So this is where I probably would still just hot route him. All right, just put him on a route where he gets there a lot sooner. The outside guy is running more of a shallow, but he's coming from depth anyway. He's coming from wider. So I actually don't mind him doing that. But he does kind of show up in the window a little early, but you can see right there, I made a poor decision. You see how the linebacker runs with, if it is a Tampa 2 dropper, okay, a middle read runner, you can see how this linebacker turns and runs with this guy. This is the route, this is then the guy you want to hit wide open over the middle, okay? So that's what we're trying to get done versus this. It's an easy play to remember. I don't think I have to even show much more of it. I think you guys will like that versus cover 2. Again, join the Patreon. I have a good video. I think you guys will like it. Just how to read coverages in Madden. There's a couple things that you can kind of clue on versus the majority of defenses that give you easy tells. So if you know if it's cover 2, okay, you won't even be surprised. And that's one of the things about being in these kind of spread formations. It helps. So you can see a lot of the core stuff, kind of basic 3-by-1, 2-by-2. It helps uncover the coverages. It helps help us. It helps us understand what's coming before, so we can kind of anticipate it. Even though it's pure progression, we can kind of anticipate what calls to make as a play caller. All right, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you guys liked it. The rest of the videos won't be this long. I think it's going to be a lot shorter because we're going to really be getting into some basic concepts. The next concepts we're going to work on to be some of these outbreaking routes that we like, that they seem to like, especially Dak. So more of our flood families, our corner routes, okay, and then we're jumping to our inside hitting routes, okay, the crossing type of routes and the digs and the post, okay. Maybe I'll just make that one video. We'll just put that all together, and we're just that'll be pretty much it. The quick game, we're kind of quickly just talk about that because Zach does like the quick game. He needs to mix that in there a little bit, but we have so much RPO stuff too. It kind of serves as a quick game, in my opinion. So we don't necessarily need to be running quick game. Okay, quick game in Madden is kind of like hit or miss sometimes. Okay. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys listening. I'll talk to you later, man. Peace.